Alright, let's get straight into it. The reason this first argument is bad is because Gege wouldn't have ended the fight like that due to all of the hype being put behind Kashima. Realistically, Sukuna could use that ability on literally everybody, then the series would be over, but if he did that, then it would be bad writing and nobody would buy the manga. You're forgetting Akutami has something to sell and he's trying to convey a good story, and if Sukuna just walked around one-shotting everybody, nobody would read the manga. That's like trying to argue since Gojo doesn't float in the sky, spam blues and reds, he can't do it when he clearly can. He basically has infinite curse energy. It just wouldn't be fun to watch that happen. Like, imagine somebody started running around saying, oh, since Gojo didn't use unlimited void against Miguel, that means he couldn't. Or instead of one of the best displays of power in JJK, Yuta just says don't move and then kills Yuji. Clearly everybody that I've mentioned could have did exactly what I said, but it would not have been an interesting thing to read. Now, just in case anyone thinks what I said was a contradiction, we can go into why it's narratively an issue. So after Sukuna gaslights Maharaga into cutting through infinity, which he does, Sukuna says lovely. He goes on to say what he wanted from Maharaga was a model, think of it like a formula. He states in this panel that Maharaga changed the essence of curse energy, which is something Sukuna himself can't do, so he had to wait until Maharaga further adapted to something he can do. Sukuna then replicated Maharaga's second adaptation, which was to expand the range of his attack rather than the essence of curse energy. To make it simple for you, Sukuna himself figured out how to bypass infinity, and then bypassed infinity. It's also stated after seeing something once Sukuna can replicate it. It's even proven in the Gojo vs Sukuna fight. So after seeing Maharaga cut through infinity, Sukuna was able to deduct and form a way to cut through infinity himself. So yes, Sukuna can still use the attack, it just would not make narrative sense for him to just one-shot everybody because nobody would read the manga. There is an explanation rhetorically and narratively. This panel is entirely disingenuous. Gojo not only was at 200% his maximum output the entire fight, he also used Licht to deceive Sukuna's perception so he would get hit with a 200 output hollow purple. Not to mention, the reason people say he's holding back is because Gojo literally stated Sukuna was holding back. Gojo literally states that he had the advantage because Sukuna is holding back. Now, this one isn't a bad argument, it's just clearly a misconception. The reason you misunderstood this is because during the detention arc, Yuji had his heart ripped out and Sukuna was still alive. Despite that, Sukuna still came back to life, so what Gojo wanted to do was ensure Sukuna could not come back to life by crushing more than just his heart. Therefore, the pact that he would have to make with the Megami to come back would have to be a lot more severe than it was with Yuji. So it's not that he wasn't trying to kill Megami / Sukuna, it's he didn't know how to successfully kill Megami / Sukuna. So he opted to make the injury sustained to Megami a lot worse than it was for Yuji. Not to mention, you cut the panel, that's why it looks so weird. So Sukuna gets hit in the heart, and then the unlimited void connects, which is why you can see Gojo running back at Sukuna to try to finish the job by crushing his liver and internal organs. The problem with this is Sukuna was just acting. He wasn't affected by unlimited void at all. That's how he was able to bring out Maharaga. Sukuna then goes on a yap session to explain that he just took the adaptations that Maharaga did, and then made Megami go through all the suffering, such as suffering the unlimited void. Yeah, no, unfortunately Gojo could not have ended it here because Sukuna wasn't affected by the unlimited void. So now we can explain how Sukuna was holding back. First explanation literally stating that he can't use anything outside the imbued curse technique or it'll stop the adaptation of Maharaga. This means his entire arsenal is completely limited to what the 10 Shadows can provide for him. We both know Sukuna and Gojo can replenish their own curse energy, which means Gojo is relatively 200%, while Sukuna is relatively at his 100%. The reason you misunderstood the scan is because you cut it again. What he actually states is Gojo's hollow purple caught him off guard and had more than 120% output, which we know it was 200. There was some barrier up that prevented Sukuna from sensing how powerful this hollow technique actually was. Despite being off-guarded by something magnitudes more powerful than he assumed it to be, he still only lost 2 of his enhanced arms. We all agree that being at 200% is significantly above 100%. Despite being at 200%, Sukuna still held back because he wanted to tank attacks from Gojo so that Maharaga could adapt to Limitless faster. Gojo in a state stronger than he will ever achieve is still weaker than Sukuna holding back.